name's Kedavan. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I went to Amsterdam a couple of weeks ago and I did a little book haul with all the wonderful books I bought while I was there. But two of the things that are not in that video, which I'll link if you haven't seen it, are a couple of zines that I found in one of the bookstores, and I was genuinely surprised to see them there. I haven't seen zines in bookstores, I think, ever before this trip. Maybe I'm just not looking. I really thought zines had been relegated to like 90s nostalgia, but I guess not, in at least some parts of the world. So I was browsing through them and I picked two of them up, and I just couldn't help myself, and I read them and I'm really enjoying them. But I want to know, like, do you find zines in your bookstores? Do you read zines? If you do, where do you get them from? I'm just so curious because while I don't really consider them books necessarily, you know, I do consider it a really important part of decolonizing my bookshelf, because even though publishers, you know, I really appreciate the work the publishers do, because, I mean, as we all know, a lot of self-published books out there are not that good, and you know, high quality editing makes a book better, you know, but it is, you know, you're still giving up something when you only read like formally published work, in terms of the different kinds of voices you hear. We can diversify our bookshelves all we want. As you know, like you know, make a real effort to do that. But, you know, kind of like off the grid published work, I think still has an important place in decolonizing our bookshelves. So I am curious, as I continue my zine exploration, to see how that works out for me. But in the meantime, I want to share with you the two zines I picked up, just so you can kind of get an idea. And please do tell me about any zines you've read, or your thoughts on zines, or whatever comes to mind. So the first one is Terrible People. You can see why it caught my eye. And this one is just sort of like a funny commentary on why people are terrible, and also why maybe people are also as perceived as terrible when it's like a cultural miscommunication. So it's kind of like both sides of that coin. And so I'll just share with you some of my favorite articles. I'll show it to you right here. It's like an article about all of the spheres of influence in our lives, and this graphic is really great. I'll put a photo up here of it, but basically it's sort of like like spheres of influence of the people in our lives, and each like sphere is closer and closer. So the middle, the closest one to the orange dot is, you know, an AI, which is like a little bit of a commentary on your lover, your BFF, and I think your close family member. And then there's like a second sphere of influence that is, you know, like an influencer that you follow, a date, you know, that you're on, a hater, a colleague, an idol, school friend, that kind of thing. And then there's that third sphere of influence, which is like Tinder date, random YouTuber, former friend, and stranger. So I just thought the article was really funny, and the graphic really, I thought was well done. So the middle section actually also has a little fun insert here, yeah, and held together by this little yellow rubber band. And it actually is a really great essay on conspiracy theories and why people believe them. So, I mean, we only have our humanity, we only have stories in general because our brain really needs to explain our world around us. And if we see something that doesn't fit into our normal, like what we should be seeing, we need to have a story to explain it. So, I mean, this is we're talking about like the origins of humanity here, like thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. And so this basically explains that the people who tend to follow conspiracy theories are people who have little control over their daily lives, suffer from social isolation, experience uncertainty. These are the people that are more vulnerable to conspiracy theories. And, you know, they see that our world is not the way we're told it is, you know, like, you know, hard work doesn't get you success. You know, things like that are just like patently untrue for a lot of people. And so, you know, there must be a reason, and the stories that they resonate with tend to be conspiracy theories, because conspiracy theories tend to focus on like a secret large power, like secretly controlling things from the background. And so that's the reason why, you know, our world is not operating as it should be, rather than, you know, kind of channeling their energy into critiquing, you know, the structures that that make our society pretty toxic. You know, things like unchecked capitalism, racism, you know, misogyny, those kinds of things, like the patriarchy. That's not the problem. The problem is, you know, the Illuminati or whatever, you know, they're, you know, so that it's just the, you know, when people tend to be socially isolated and don't have control over their lives, they tend to go in that direction. And so this piece does a really good job kind of discussing that. So I really love that one. And then another one I really loved was, about one of the Roman Catholic Church's holiest relics, Scala Sancta. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it means holy stairs, I guess, in Latin. And it's a set of 28 white marble steps in Rome, and you climb them on your knees, the 28 steps, and then you can be granted a plenary indulgence. And I mean, I'm not a Catholic, so I don't actually understand exactly what that means, but it's basically like a big deal religiously to then be granted this indulgence. And so, but it was an interesting piece to like learn about that kind of thing. But then I really just like loved how fun it was. Like, it is printed as a set of stairs. I really like that. And just kind of like adds fun into it that like you just don't get with books, you know what I mean? Like, you're never gonna, well, not never, but like very rarely, you know? And then it also has like really beautiful art in it as well. You know, like really like nice glossy pages in parts. And then there's like a little like kind of racism 101 piece with like 4 tips. I really love this one. 6 reasons why you should not ask people if they've had a baby. Please and thank you. As a child-free person, I really am sick of that question. Yeah, and those were my favorite pieces in Terrible People. So this was very funny, very light, very irreverent. While it did tackle some pretty serious subjects, it did it from a very like positive, light way, or poking fun, rather than, you know, being like a serious critique. So it was very nice. I read through it very quickly, very fun. And then the second one I got is called Accent. And this one is actually the second issue. It's called Accent Magazine for Social Insights. So I'll just kind of, you can see that's like Angela Davis on the cover there. And this one is definitely more of like kind of hardcore commentary on social issues. But on the back, it said that it's a thematic magazine investigating dualities, paradoxes, and binary complexities in society. Through inviting writers from various levels and points of non-academic expertise, we aim to create an accessible platform for radical intersectional thought. Breaking the spotlight's dominant discourse by diffracting its light into multiple rays of analysis. So basically they're trying to decolonize, you know, intersectional social justice discourse by inviting other perspectives other than academics. Because, I mean, let's be honest, you know, mostly this is relegated to, you know, people with PhDs in social sciences making commentaries on things. So it's really refreshing to see, you know, only there's like 5. There's like 10 articles in here, and only 2 of them are written by a professor. So that's really cool to see that the vast majority of writers in this publication are not necessarily academics. So they might be academics, but they're not professors. I don't know. So I'll just show you the table of contents on this one, so you can kind of get an idea of what's included here. Yeah. The ones I'm really enjoying are The Camera is Racist, Just Like Me, Photography is a Mirror of Society. So, you know, if you've seen Queen and Slim, excellent movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. This was one of the first movies where they hired I don't know if they were black. Yeah, I think they were black cinematographer and a photography person, or a lighting person rather. So most black actors in films don't look very good in them because the lighting person doesn't know how to light black skin. They have only learned how to do the proper lighting for white people or lighter skinned people. And so the darker a black person is, the kind of worse they look on film if they're not properly lit because the person doesn't know how to do it. So one of the like really sadly, I think revolutionary things about Queen and Slim is that the lighting was amazingly done in that movie, and you really can tell the difference. And so that it reminded me of that. I should say it's not really about, you know, lighting necessarily, like, but it reminded me of this, and I really enjoyed it. On the linguistic implications of coming out in Japan, I also was really intrigued by. It seemed it's very interesting. Yeah, basically, it's like just the different vocabulary is very difficult to translate, and that, you know, makes things difficult as always. So it is very dense. Like, you know, this is what it looks like. So it is pretty, you know, heavy reading, but each article is no more than, you know, 3 or 4 half pages. There's actually a very interesting poem in here as well. It's actually 1 full page in the middle, and so it starts off looking like this, and then you flip the page, and this is the very center of the publication, and then this is like the back side of that printed page. So I'm not sure exactly how you're supposed to read it, because like it gets cut off. So like I'm not sure if we're supposed to read it like down or across, but like, you know, poetry especially, but in general, like when these kinds of like confusing things happen to me where I'm like, oh, I don't know what it's supposed to be, I don't know where this is going, in general, that is nice for me because it makes me think, it makes me like come up with different ideas or possibilities. And in the end of the day, it's a poem in a zine. Like if I don't get it, like that's okay. But just the act of like trying to figure it out is to me the fun part. Like I don't think I necessarily got anything out of this poem on its own, necessarily, other than that experience of trying to figure it out, which is fine, and I enjoyed that experience anyway. Alrighty, and that is Accent Magazine for Social Insights. This one definitely feels like more like a zine. It's definitely like just regular paper, stapled, you know, like classic. And it's definitely kind of what I expected a zine to look like in today's modern age. So this is more classic, whereas Terrible People, I think, was more high quality and like less underground vibe. But I really enjoyed both of them. And again, like, please let me know your experience with zines, if you've seen them, if you read them, where you get them from, all that good stuff. Leave them in the comments below. And until next time, bye.